Welcome to the Security Middle East Conference 2024, where we've just finished the proceedings for the day. Some really insightful panel discussions and keynote presentations from our contributors. And I'm delighted to be here with Betania Allo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Betania. Betania has moderated quite an exciting panel discussion where we've looked at diversity, inclusivity, and equality in the security workplace. But first of all, Betania, I want to just get your overall feelings of the day. How did you feel today went, the vibes, the people that you met, the sort of energy in the room?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the invitation. This is an incredible conference. It really exceeded all my expectations. Every single panel was so well crafted in terms of the questions, the panelists, the discussion per se, like the whole conversation. It was so interesting for people who are so passionate about the different, approaches to security, that I think that every single attendee today is leaving with key takeaways from every single panel. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And just touching upon the actual panel discussion that you moderated, I missed some of it. Unfortunately, I was in a meeting, but I think I caught some really good, really good points. And there were some really interesting insights from. It was an international panel, wasn't it? Representation from every corner of the world. Talk to us more about that and how you felt the delivery of the panel influenced the delegates in the room.
Well, yeah, we had representatives from Australia, from Russia, from here, Saudi Arabia, myself from Argentina, but all with experiences from all over the world. So that made the conversation even richer. We were, as you said, talking about diversity and inclusion, not only through the gender lens, but also including, diversity in terms of disabilities, cultural, geographical, etc. So one of the main key points that we established was regarding what kind of policies we can have within our organizations and what can everybody do to be able to create a more inclusive environment. We went through how, for example, in terms of gender, men could be allies by promoting, for example, mentorship opportunities, more inclusive hiring practices, more flexible work schedules, so that you can retain talent as well. Because that was another thing that we were discussing earlier in a different panel. It was, why is it that millennials and Gen Z don't have like a prospect to stay in the same company for many years? So how do you retain that talent, right? It's not like the concept was, it's not like baby boomers and Gen X, right? That have that thing of, okay, 20 years in the same company. And more in Gen Z, I think that we see it, right? Like, oh no, I'm going to be here 2 years and then move on to something else. Like, they have it better planned than millennials. Millennials, we've lived through difficult times, so I think it's a bad example. But it's true that it's hard for us to actually commit to the same company for a long time. And one of the things that, of course, benefits, compensation have a ton of weight, but the kind of environment that it creates, the kind of growth opportunities, the kind of career development investments that the company gives to their employees, and the environment in general. Because if you feel valued, if you feel empowered, if you feel that you have a voice within your company, you will want to feel that sense of belonging in your team, and it's going to be completely different. So I think that this not only works for the conversation regarding the different eras, or like millennials, etc., but also in terms of diversity and inclusion. Because if we don't feel comfortable, if we don't feel included in our team, most likely we won't be able to stay there very longer.
Absolutely. And I think it was a really interesting progression from a topic that we had at last year's conference, where we were specifically looking at how to close the talent gap and retain talent within the industry, and also welcome international talent. So it's really nice to see the progression and how creating an inclusive workplace, an inclusive industry, based on some of the insights that you and the ladies shared today, can help to retain that talent for years to come.
And I think that to your point, it also has to do with having, that was one of the points that we were discussing, with interdisciplinary approaches to security. Me coming from law, policy, technology, like I have all this mix, and sometimes it's hard for employers to wrap their head around, okay, but what exactly, like, are you too technical to be in the legal side, but too legal to be in the technical side? Like, I don't understand. So how you can like transfer certain skills to a new job. There's a lot of jobs that have like in the job training, and I think that the new challenge for hiring managers, for leaders, is to try to see a little bit beyond that. That today people come from different careers, economics, psychology, etc., and can make a huge contribution in the security industry.
Absolutely. Well, I really do think that the discussion and the topics would have helped to positively influence the leaders in the room. And long may that awareness of the benefits of being more inclusive and more diverse continue. And I know that we've touched upon that in the magazine recently. So I would encourage all of our viewers at home to read the latest edition of Security Middle East, where Betania and some of the other speakers today shared their own experiences and thoughts. But Betania, it's been a real pleasure to work with you on this conference.
Pleasure was mine.
Fantastic to have you here, and hopefully look forward to more collaborations in the future.
Me too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.